on American soil for 1 week, and you are my very first Haiti Mama audience. So thank you so much for being here. And it's horrible, it's because it's practice, right? Just kidding. Okay, so God magic happened to me, and this is something that I really want to say is something that's really real about the Haiti Mama journey. Ironically, I just remembered as I was driving to York that 3 years ago, I was going through a divorce. And my husband had left me, and I was a single mother, and I was driving back to Minnesota from Nebraska with my family, and I told my dad, I was sitting up front with my dad, and I said, I don't know if I believe that God intervenes in our lives anymore. I'm questioning that constantly, and we had this really long conversation the whole ride home about how we know that is something that happens, and at the end of the drive, he said, I'm just going to pray that God shows you. I'm just going to pray that God shows you that He intervenes all the time. And God showed me, like, magically, God showed me. And so from the magic of God showing me that He has a plan and makes things happen if He wants them to happen, has come God magic. And I have started an organization in Haiti called Haiti Mama. So I'm a social worker, a licensed social worker, and the brunt of my experience is in mental health. I worked for a model of psychiatric care called assertive community treatment, which is an intense community social work where we go out into people's homes and do rehabilitative therapy under their psychiatrist. So all of my experience, pretty much all of my experience, was in the community, going out to people and doing whatever we could to rehabilitate them, which for me, my specific role was employment counselor. So I was finding people with severe persistent mental illness jobs. And I got pretty good at it. And I was good at my job. And I had a great job, and I was blessed to be where I was, and everything was great. I was a single mother of 2, but I was beyond blessed to be able to take care of both of them on my own, and had a job that I loved. So I turned 30 years old, which the relevance of that is, I don't know, but I turned 30 years old on a Monday. And on Tuesday, someone, a missionary in Haiti that I've known for years, emailed me and said, we really, really, really need someone like you in Haiti. We need someone who's good with jobs and employment minded in Haiti. Is there any way you would come to Haiti? And I was like, sure, yeah, I'd probably come to Haiti. What would we do? And from there, as soon as I prayed about it, it felt like that was exactly where I needed to go, and exactly what I needed to do was go to Haiti and help mamas in Haiti find jobs. But I didn't have clients yet. So the thing about me as someone who was called to Haiti by God is that I practiced my social work principles to the T for every step of the way. And one of the most important things that social work teaches is that if we're going to help someone and reach out to help someone of a different culture, we have to have competency of that culture to be able to be in any way effective. So when I got to Haiti, or before I got to Haiti, I did tons and tons and tons of research so that I had a history and as much competency as I could on the religion, voodoo, these types of things. I was trying really hard to go in with as much education on the country as I could. But the more and more research I did, the more and more confusion I felt about who these people were going to be. And a lot of missionaries that I talked to had a lot of negative things to say about Haiti. that any like attempts for evangelism have been unsuccessful because of voodoo and things like that. Like there seems to be. This is like one of the most haunting images for me when you Google Haiti. This is the kind of things you see. And this image, this is City Soleil. I've actually been there, but they have this really bad rap, right? Like, even for me, going to Haiti, I felt like I was going to this dark place, like this place I didn't understand. So I got to Haiti, and I just prayed that God would put people in my life that would teach me cultural competency. So He did. This is Delma 66, right after the earthquake. I lived a little bit up on that mountain, but this was like the very worst spot for the earthquake. A week into being in Haiti, I made a friend, and his name was Ronnie, and I was telling him that I'm obsessed with Haitian coffee because they just have they have the best coffee. And he said, oh, you should come and have coffee in my neighborhood. Our neighborhood has really good coffee. So one morning I got up at 7:30 in the morning, took a moto down my little mountain and came, it doesn't look like this at all anymore, but I took a moto down and came and sat on Ronnie's rooftop with him and had some delicious Haitian coffee. And it was the first time that I had been at a spot, because I was up high, it was the first time that I had been at a spot where I could see so much earthquake rubble, because it's still, I mean, they haven't repaired a lot of this. So I said, that's all from the earthquake still? And he said, yeah. And it just dawned on me, like I had never asked anybody, like, what's your earthquake story? And so at like 8 in the morning on a rooftop in Delma 66, I asked Ronnie, where were you when the earthquake happened, or what happened for you? So I want to share Ronnie's story with you because it's pivotal in my journey in Haiti, and it's pivotal to cultural competency. So Ronnie said that when the earthquake struck, he had just gotten off the phone with his very best friend, someone that he considers a brother. His entire family was out of town, like on the countryside, which is good because the countryside was much more safe. But he had just gotten off the phone with his best friend, and his best friend said, I'm coming from Tausha. So about a half an hour journey by tap for him to get to run. As soon as he hung up the phone, the earthquake hit. So he was standing in that right after he got off the phone with his friend. And he said for about 2 or 3 hours he helped people around him, and there was a mother that he helped, and then he kind of blacks out for a while, and then comes to, and the only thing he can think is of his best friend who was on his way to come to him. And he said, I don't know if it was, just shock or trauma or what was going on, but all I could think was I have to find my best friend. So Ronnie set out on foot. From Tausha to Delma 66, probably like 7 miles. He set out on foot to find his best friend. So Ronnie, for 2 days, walked the streets of Haiti turning over dead bodies, looking for his best friend. He said he just kept turning people over, hoping that it was him, or hoping that he could find his friend. And he never did. He never found his friend. His friend never was recovered from the earthquake. But after that long journey of traveling by foot through dead bodies everywhere, he returned back to Delma 66. And he said, I was home, but my family wasn't there, and there was no way for me to communicate with my family that I was okay. And I'd never had the inclination to go to God before. He was like, but for the first time in my life, I wanted God, and there's a church. And I'm sad because this picture doesn't show it, but there's a church and there's a cross, a cement cross that still remains after the earthquake. And he said he went to that church hoping that he could get onto the rooftop and maybe have a place to just be for a day and just have a place of solitude after everything he had saw. He just wanted to curl up and be alone. And so he made his way to that church, and when he got up there, he was clearing a place for himself to lay down and rest. And he said every time he moved something to clear a spot, he found a limb, or he found a foot, or he found a hand, and there wasn't a place to go, right? So my first week in Haiti, as I was assessing everybody, or just assessing the culture, I kept thinking to myself, there's a look in these people's eyes I've never seen before. What is this? Is this the voodoo thing? What is this look in everybody's eyes that I don't understand? I just couldn't figure it out. It was just a look I had never seen. And when I left Ronnie's that morning and headed back up the mountain back to my house, as I passed everybody that I've passed many times and looked in their eyes again, I realized that this entire country the look in their eyes is trauma. The look in their eyes is pain that we had no understanding of. And it was pivotal for me because all the fear that I had of this unknown Haiti, I turned into complete empathy. I understood that if I didn't understand, it was trauma-based. And so I set forth with a good attitude, I think that was an important moment that God magic brought me to understand Haitians and to have empathy for their cultural competency. So, the next God magic in my journey of Haiti Mama is that God brought me to Haitian social work students. There is a school, a woman who has come from the University of Michigan and is teaching students English and then teaching them curriculum from the University of Michigan. So they're learning American social work in Haiti. It's accredited through Haiti, not through the US, but we have Haitian social workers that speak English. I had no idea this existed. I had no idea these men existed. And week two, God brought me to 11 Haitian social workers that were ready for an internship and ready to apply everything they've just recently learned in Haiti. And I was ready to learn lots and lots and lots about Haiti. So it changed everything. So I had an army of social workers. And these guys, I can't even explain it. Honestly, I've worked with a lot of American social workers, but they're so thirsty to do good. They just want to see change in their country. And they're so excited to learn. I am so blessed that God brought me to these guys. And I think it was another huge reason why I was sent to Haiti, for Haiti Mama. So, I put my feelers out to all of the nonprofits that are working in Haiti and said, hey, I'm a social worker from the US, here's my expertise, mental health, I'm good at this and this, I've got a little army of social workers that are ready to do anything I tell them to, so if anybody wants us to come help, let me know. And thus started our tour of orphanages. We ended up going to 23 in my first month after meeting the social workers. And we set up Milo, this little guy, his dad, we work with his dad now. His dad is someone that we're working on doing employment for because he really, really wants his son home. His mom had died of cholera, and the dad was just terrified to be a single dad in Haiti and didn't have the funds to really support him. So Dad's coming to the orphanage all the time, and when I saw that, I grabbed the client and said, let's help this guy, let's work with him. We're still working with him, but after 23 orphanages, I started knowing exactly what questions I wanted to ask, and I quickly realized that these orphans aren't orphans. They all have parents. 90% of the kids that are living in orphanages in Haiti have parents. They're orphans of poverty. There are 200 licensed orphanages in Port-au-Prince, and I would say that half of the ones we visited aren't licensed, so probably 500,000 kids are living in orphanages, and they have parents. There's a social issue of poverty in Haiti, and it's extreme, but the only solution we've given to that country so far is we'll take your children and we'll feed and educate your children, but we leave the parents hopeless and hungry. And really we forget about the parents. They're forgotten. And it started to make me sick. It really did. The very last orphanage we went to, I left that orphanage and I said, I don't think I can do the orphanages anymore. Like, we gotta do something better and we gotta do something different. Like, this is really hurting my heart. And we drove on our motos to a park that day, and we had bought some food on the street, and we were sitting and eating, and we were doing an assessment of the orphanage that we had just visited. And a little boy came up to me. I got sick from the food, because I always get sick from the food because it's Haiti. And so I put my food down, and a little boy came up behind me and pointed at my food, and I was like, oh yeah, you want this? You can have it. And I gave him my little styrofoam thing full of rice and beans, and watched as he he took it with like a really like animalistic gesture. It was really like he was scared of me. And he took this food and he ran as fast as he could across this little basketball court, and I watched all 10 of the kids that are Haiti on the street kids devour it within 30 seconds with their hands. And I was like, hold up, what's going on here? Who are these kids? And so I was like, I told all the social workers, I was like, stop eating! We're giving the food to the kids! Don't eat anymore, we're going over here. And so this is the day that I meet the Haiti Mama Boys. And we gave them the rest of our food, I bought them some pops, and we sat and we talked, and we talked, and we talked, and we did an assessment with every single one of them, just asking their stories and their lives, and who they are and what they were doing. And they were all living on the streets, and none of them knew where their moms were. Sansan at the end, he knew where his mom was, but none of the rest of these guys did. So I fell in love with them. Like, immediately I fell in love. And I had an organization named Haiti Mama, and all of a sudden I was sitting with 10 beautiful boys that had no mothers. But I had just learned a valuable lesson, which is the moms are probably out there, right? The moms are probably out there. So as hard as it was, I let them sleep here. This is where they were sleeping. They slept there. This is a tap station where some guys park their taps. And
What's
the guys,
a tap?
this is a tap.
A truck?
This is the taxi of Haiti.
Oh,
Pickups with these things on them, and then people sit. Actually, in that picture, there are people sitting in there. That's the tap. Those are the taxis of Haiti. They're everywhere. They're super hot, and so this is like a place where guys park their taps. And one of the tap drivers told the boys they could sleep there. So this is where these boys were sleeping every night. And I didn't go there right away, but I did go back to the park every single day and bought them food and sat and fed them every day. These are the styrofoam things, these are my social workers, and these are the boys. And this is Nadia, who is a street marchand. She sells food on the street, and she's a beautiful woman that fed the boys a lot when they were starving for free. And that was simply all we did for the first 3 weeks of getting to know these boys. We just came back every day and fed them every day because they were starving. And it was, when we first started feeding them, like if we would start to get the food out, I mean, they were fighting, and they'd be on the ground over their bags of water is how people drink water in Haiti. This guy is a Dlo guy. This Dlo is water. That thing on his head has 1 million bags of water in it. And then he's just waiting for someone to say Dlo, and then he's gonna hand you water. So even like a bag of water, if one fell on the ground, they would all just jump on it. Like their basic needs hadn't been met for so long that they were almost savage. And so Maslow's hierarchy of needs, thank God for social work, I knew I couldn't do anything until they were fed. So every day we just went back and we fed them and we hung out with them and we lived the street kid life. Got to know them and built trust with them, engaged them, and really like just all started to love each other. We did. We all started to love each other. So the next thing that we did is that we looked for their families. Once the boys had built trust with us, we said, take us to your families and let's go try to find them. And so I had 11 social workers making millions of phone calls and going to really bad places and meeting people that were giving them another lead to go this place and that place and call this person. And for a month, we just worked on finding any family. Find a mom, find an aunt, find a grandma, find whoever. Let's find somebody. Well, let's just meet their family. Let's see. Is there anybody? J-Mac's mom was living there. Andrew and Anderson lived there and take care of their 3- and 5-year-old brothers on their own. They're 14-year-old twins that live independently in one of those shacks and take care of a 3- and 5-year-old. That's why they're on the streets begging every day, because they're bringing food back for their brothers. This is the niece or nephew or cousin or something of Andy's aunt. Like, we found families, right? And it was a ton of work, and I sweated, and I climbed mountains, and I was exhausted, but we found all of their families. We found all of their families. We found most of their moms. A few of their moms had passed away, but we found aunts, we found dads, we found brothers, we found anybody. And we met with their families, and we said, everyone thought that I was starting an orphanage. Like, that's what all the Haitians expected, was that the next step was that I was going to take these kids off the street and start an orphanage. And I said to all of them, I want them to sleep with you, and I want them to live with you, and I want them to be with your family. But I'll feed them, and I'll educate them, because I know that they're not getting that. But I want them to be with you. And they all agreed. They were all like, sure, yeah, that's great. Really? Great, let's do it. So they all started dormir la caillou. They all started sleeping at home. And it was nothing short of a miracle, really. Like, we all thought there's no way this is really going to actually work. But the parents even called the social workers if the kids didn't come home. Like, he didn't come home last night. Awesome. Like, you guys are actually playing this social work game with us. Thank you. So that's what we did. We still met them at the park, and we still fed them. But they all started sleeping at home. And I want to tell you a story of, like, I want to tell you all the stories. But I'm just going to pick one, because I can't take all of your time. So this is Jackie, and the one in the orange is Jackie. That's baby. And that's Gregory, my #1 social worker. He's amazing. This is the day that Jackie finally told us our story. His story. He was silent for the first month of us getting to know the boys. Didn't say a word. And then when it came time to meet families, he didn't say a word. And he'd eat, and then he'd like take off before we'd get a chance to actually say, like, hey, where's the last place you lived, or what? He just wouldn't tell us anything. So this was the day that Gregory finally got him, right? So Jackie's mom was displaced after the earthquake, and she moved to one of the tent cities, where she still lives now. It's not actually a tent, it's a tent shack, which I think is much worse because it's so hot. So she moved to one of these tent cities. They just kind of opened up this like horrible piece of land where there's not a tree in sight, and it looks like a desert, and it is a desert. And they just opened up this land and said, hey, people who need a spot, you can take this tent and have a house right here. So Jackie's mom ended up there after the earthquake. Jackie ended up with his dad. And his dad gave him to a family that had money. And he told the family that if you can have him and he can work for you if you'll put him in school. So this is a huge problem in Haiti. It's another social issue. It's called a restavek. Jackie was given to this family and became a slave to them. He didn't get put in school. He didn't get fed. He was 100% a slave to them. But the family was wealthy. So as the story goes, and he did tell us this that day, he stole from the family. He stole, I think what would be like 500 US, yeah, it was 10,000 Haitian dollars. So it's like 500 US dollars from this family, and took off. He went to his dad's, like maybe a week later when the money was gone or whatever, and his dad said, if you step foot another foot near me, I will kill you. You are not a son to me anymore. Get out of here. I'm going to kill you. And so Jackie took to the streets, and this is where we meet Jackie. He had just, within like the last month, been on the streets after being a child slave, and had no idea where his mom was, and his dad was going to kill him. So we went to his dad. Our social workers went to his dad and said, hey, your son's on the streets. And he said, the white woman can have him. I don't want him. He is not my son. He stole from that family. And they said, well, that family was really abusing him and really, taking advantage of him. He was a slave. He said, I don't care. I want nothing to do with him. He's dead. So it was complete God magic that we find his mom, because we didn't know that she was in Canada in this tin shack. God helped us find Jackie's mom. So we find out that she's in Canada, which is a place where it's very dangerous at this point. So social workers brought Jackie out there, and they were just going to kind of like go walk around and see if they could find her. And they did find her. And as the story goes, from my social worker, he said it was as if Jackie was like a prodigal son, She saw him for the first time, and she ran to him, and he ran to her, and they were together again. And they're in a tin shack right now. But Jackie's home, and he's with his mom, and she's so loving of a mom. She's such a good mom. She has no money, and she has 6 kids, but she's such a loving mom. And she was wondering about him all the time, So, Jackie's mom was like a complete Haiti mama. She's like the kind of client that I'm so excited to have, right? Like, what can I do to like take your kid off the street and then really like help your family? We have been helping Jackie's mom. Right now, we're just bringing them rice and food. Like once a month, we're bringing her enough to feed her kids. And we got Jackie into school, and my prayer is that we can do a ton more for Jackie and Jackie's mom, because they shouldn't be living where they're living. And she's so awesome. I love that woman. So that was Jackie's story, and all the stories of all these guys will make you cry. But Anderson, the guy in the corner, that picture haunts me, and I'm glad that I got that shot at that moment. They hadn't seen their mom for 5 years, and he's the 14-year-old, he has a 14-year-old twin brother who's taking care of his 3- and 5-year-old brother, and they hadn't seen their mom. They hadn't seen her since the little one was a baby, so I guess 3 years. And she came out of the woodwork, and they didn't tell me this, I didn't know, but one day we were in the park eating, and they were yelling at everybody to ration their food, and they were boxing up everybody's leftover food into these other boxes and filling up these boxes. And I mean, usually these guys are fighting over each other's leftovers, and they're still hungry after the whole thing, and everyone was giving them food, and they were hoarding this food, and I was like, hold up, what's going on? What are you doing with this food? Andrew Anderson's mom came out of the woodwork, and she was pregnant, and they were saving their, after having not seen their mom for 3 years and are taking care of their 3 and 5-year-old brothers, were now saving all of the leftover food of their friends to bring to their mom because she was pregnant. So that was the day that I finally got up the mountain and literally climbed the mountain, like a real mountain, and met Andrew Anderson's mom. And this was this moment right here. She was finally honest with my social worker and said when their dad left, she left the kids and has been a prostitute ever since. So the baby that was in her was just because of prostitution, and that was a really hard visit. And at the end of it, I just said, like, do you have any intention of going back to those kids? Any intention of going back? She said, no, like, find some place for them. I can't. So there were good stories and there were hard stories, but we have found a place for the 2 younger boys, the 3 and the 5-year-old. We have helped them get placed in an orphanage. Which, in a situation like that, it's understandable, right? So, yeah. So then, we kept our promise, and we got all the boys in school. Which, all school in Haiti is privatized, so any child who is being educated in Haiti, their parents are paying for them to go to school. So, 80% of Haitians live off of less than $2 a day, and it costs Haiti Mama about $150 US for each kid. So children really aren't going to school. Everywhere you look, there are no children in school. And their first day of school, we went there because I decided if, I'm taking these kids from the streets to school, we obviously need to be doing a lot of para work and school social work. So we just went to the school once they were there. And the first day of school, all my social workers were so solemn and like kind of sad, and like I was so happy, like we got him in school, and I was like ready to jump up and down, but nobody was in the same mood as me. And so I like pulled them all out of school, and I was like, what gives? Like, what's going on? Why is everybody so sad today? We're supposed to be happy. The boys are in school. They were on the streets a minute ago. And they were like, that's it. We're not sad. But Tausha, in our country, for these boys to be in school is a miracle today. And we all are in shock. And I was like, it's not a miracle, you guys. This is community social work. Like, we're just doing it. Like, this is exactly how it goes, right? But yeah, it's awesome. They're in school. So in 3 months, we got them off the streets, living at home, and into school. And now we're in a maintenance phase where I'm back fundraising, and my social workers are doing an amazing job without me. They keep sending me all these amazing reports, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are so good. I'm so thankful. Like, thank God that I have these amazing guys. So yeah, we're doing school social work. We've got one of our social workers at the school, and then 2 of our social workers are going to the boys' houses in the mornings and doing homework with them before they go to school. It's cool stuff. So that's what I did when I went to Haiti. That was the beginning of Haiti Mama. And I've been praying and praying and praying about what we do next, right? And the children, there are still lots more children on the streets. I picked 10. I started with 10 so that I could develop a model and see how it went, experiment with this new culture. But there are still more, and there will be more until there's a shift in until there's a shift, a cultural shift. There's going to be street children. And street kids are the #1 kids that are grabbed for sex trafficking. I didn't even put this in anything that we did, but we actually stopped 2 traffickers because we were on the streets with the kids all the time. We were there. So they would say, oh, this woman's going to take us to the Dominican Republic. We'd be like, oh, wait, where? Who's going to do that? Let's go talk to her. So there were 2 Dominican Republic traffickers that we ended up getting to get all their information. Our social workers were great. They pretended like, we're going to, I don't know. Anyway, we ended up, Haitian Social Services does one thing. They will go after traffickers. Like, they have signed some treaty with the UN that they're not letting trafficking happening in Haiti. It's the only thing they'll put their energy towards. So when we found the traffickers, the social services came and got them, and it was good. So when I pray about what we could do for street kids, I really think we need a refuge. We need a shelter. We need a center. We need a place where children can come during the day. It's something that we offer troubled youth in America all the time. A day program, a place for them to come, a place for them to eat, a place for them to talk, activities. And I also think with the concept of having a center for Haiti, or for the street children in this specific area, it opens up so many ministries. Many people can come and do whatever God lays on their heart to do. And then rehabilitation for our mamas, to teach them to live a productive life and to bring someone back to a good condition. That's what I was doing in the States, and that's still what I long for Haiti Mama to do. But rehabilitation in Haiti is a completely different beast. There aren't jobs, so I have to create a job market. So after a lot of research on what we could do to create a job market, I believe that the best thing for us to do for the next year for these moms is to bring as much used donations down to Haiti as we can for them to sell. There's still a really legit class society in Haiti. So there's rich people and then there's the peasants, like there would be in how we learned it. But there's marchand, there are people selling on the streets, and that's really the only kind of job you can have, because there aren't stores, there aren't gas stations, there aren't these things. There's people selling things on the streets. So if we brought something down for them to sell and worked with them on being able to sell it, I think most of the mamas and a few of the aunts that we were working with could be successful. And my hope is that we can work with them on budgeting and help them to start to feed their own kids. But it's step one in the process. So this is like the terrifying part for me as the social worker that God called to Haiti. And now coming back and saying, this is what I think we could really make a difference in Haiti doing. But now I'm at this point where I have to ask people for donations and money and all these things, and it's a terrifying thing where I know that only God is going to show me His magic, right? So what we need is prayer that God continues to work His magic.
Amen.
And we need volunteers in the U.S. and in Haiti. If you say, hey Tausha, I want to volunteer for you in the U.S. or I want to volunteer for you in Haiti, I promise I will find you something to do. The most immediate need I have for Haiti Mama is that we need another $500 a month of incoming donations to sustain feeding the kids and this transportation for them to go to school, the water, all the little things that we're doing. We need about another $500 a month. And I am giving their social workers a stipend. And then I budgeted out how much we will need to run a refuge and an employment program for a year, and it looks like a terrifying $60,000. That's like rent and a container shipment down to Haiti, and all of the little things in between, like, a cook for the center and food and all of those things. So that's my Haiti mama story. It's been an awesome ride, and now I'm at the place where I'm getting to tell people about it and ask for prayer and see if anyone has any, tingle in your heart to help. And merci en pile. That's thank you very much. If you have questions, I can give you answers.
How long have you been down there?
I went on June 2nd.
Of this year?
Yeah.
You've done all that in 4 months?
Wow.
Okay. Sorry.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow. I assumed you've been there for like years.
Yeah, that was June 2nd. That was just June 2nd.
And you had your boys with you for how long?
Oh yeah, so I went down for 3 weeks without them, and then did some running around, met the social workers and things like that, and kind of navigated safety, because that was my biggest concern. There was some statistics that I had read that said the only growth industry Haiti has had since the earthquake is kidnapping. So I was terrified to bring a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old to Haiti, but I was, I'm crazy enough to do it. So I went for 3 weeks without them. They came, my parents brought them, and then they left 3 weeks before me, and I wrapped up. So they were with us, they were with me for 3 months. I was there for 4. Yeah. And Everest, who's here tonight, hated Haiti. He didn't like it. He didn't like having a language barrier. It was really hard on him, I mean, we were in Haiti. It's not easy at all. My 2-year-old now, he's an islander. He did fabulous. Everyone called him Garçon Mouet, my boy, and they all loved him, and it was easy. But my 4-year-old, please pray for him, because he is going back to Haiti, but he's not excited about it. So, I'm at Haiti, that's it. Unless you have any questions.
Will you tell us, I know when we share with people that we're going to be collecting items for you to take back for the mothers to sell, to generate income, everybody I think really wants to know really what's the best thing to send for you, what will be the most helpful, what are not good items to send. I think a guideline would help us be able to help gather and collect.
When I was in Haiti, and I was thinking of, I'd be in Haiti and I'd think, oh, that would be a good thing to bring down. Oh, that would be a good thing to bring down. And I honestly, I don't think there's anything that we shouldn't bring down. I can't think of anything please don't send this. I really can't. Sure, absolutely. Here's the thing. If we can't sell it on the streets, we can use books at the center. You know what I mean? Donations, if I'm starting a refuge for children to come, there will be a place to use it in Haiti. There's nothing. At this point in Haiti, there's an embargo against import. So they're not getting any commercial import. So access to anything is not there.
What about electrical items? Are the plugs the same there?
Yeah.
Is that
Plugs are the same.
so those things?
And electronics are probably one of the most lucrative businesses you could have. For sure. I feel and I just did, right before I left, I just did a 3-day thing where I went around with my moto guy, and I just talked to marchands that were selling and just looked at what their prices are, and everything people are selling is something that came from the States as a donation. And I think the most lucrative businesses are people who have TVs and DVD players and things like that. So Haiti doesn't have electricity full time, but everyone has access to it every now and then. I will generate a list, but I really don't think that there's anything that wouldn't be used.
And is that most helpful for you right now is to gather those kind of things, or do you have a priority on keeping these 10 boys in school? I know you want to do all of it, but
Right.
what would be your plea for if we can help you? What's the best way right now?
Yeah, I would love to have like a group of people that are working a junk in my trunk for me. Like that would be such
Those
a
are her garage sales. That's what she calls them.
I did a garage sale fundraiser where I went around to all my friends' houses and collected their junk in my trunk and had a garage sale fundraiser, which also made me realize how easy it is for us to come by stuff in Haiti or in America. Like it's just so easy. We all have just so much stuff, right? Like if there was a group of people that were willing to really work on donations, that would be the greatest blessing, you know? And I will continue to find some money.
Do you have sponsors for each of your 10 boys for school, for going to school? You have them covered, right?
All school is covered. Right now, that $500 is the food. We're missing food and the stipend for the social workers. So,
And the social workers are those kids' lifeline to get their food right now, right?
yes.
So they're as important as the food.
Absolutely. And the social workers are really like playing a rehabilitative piece for that. If we didn't have the social workers, we wouldn't have even for sure. Those guys are so awesome. I'm so.
They're all men?
Yeah, you know what? The girls didn't want to work with me. There were girls, but they were all really interested in doing like pregnancy, women's stuff, and that. Like that's not me. So I helped a few of the social worker girls find internships, but what I was doing wasn't of any interest to them. And really, like we just did an entire 4 months on the streets of Haiti. Like we were on the streets with these kids. So I needed guys that were, you know, grimy enough to hack that out with me, you know, like we're on the streets of Haiti. So, yeah, I did have some girls at the beginning, but we just found them, I just helped find them internships at other organizations that were what they were interested in doing. So yeah, I have all guys, and I have all boys right now.
Yeah, and does it appear that there are more boys on the street than girls because the girls are making money?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But I did partner with an organization that I'm sending referrals for the girls that I'm meeting. Hello. Oh, okay. So there were a few girls that were like hanging around with us a lot, and you could tell they just really were looking for an avenue out of the streets. And this was like after I had designated, like, I'm not taking in any more kids. Like, as much as I'm gonna meet other kids, I have to just have 10 that I start with so I can really be successful and see if this will even work. And then, once again, God magic, I have a house that there are rooms for people to rent. And a woman came to check out a room to rent in my house, and she was running, she's working for a huge organization that's doing the exact thing for girls. So I was like, I've got some girls, how do I get them to you? So we have been kind of flip-flopping referrals. So good stuff. And Haiti really isn't as bad as it seems, I promise. Like, if you kind of want to come, you should. It's kind of fun. I love it. It's chaotic, and it's the landmass of Haiti is 1/8 of the size of Minnesota, with 2.5 times of the population. So there's not a place you can go where there isn't people everywhere. I got really sick from a parasite at one point, and I said, I just want to go someplace and rest where there's nobody. Like, is there any place to go where there's like nobody? Like, I just want to be outside and like get some fresh air, but not see a person. And so we went to the ocean, to this like very, very, very like small spot. We had my kids with me, and we thought, like, this is where I'm gonna get in the ocean, I'm gonna have some rest, because I was really sick. And I was like, we did it, this is it. Like, I don't see anybody in Haiti, and I'm not joking you. There are these fishermen that fish for conch, which they like are under, like literally picking them up with their hands, and a conch fisherman like popped up out of the water right as I said we did it. And I was like, ah, Haiti! But I like people, so I'm fine. All right.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
You maybe have already answered this, I've been in and out a little bit, and I apologize if this is redundant, but did you ever look around and just think that it was like completely hopeless and what could you have to offer these people, or did you feel that way frequently?
Yeah, okay, so honestly, Haiti's in such a rough spot because of their government, and they've been in a rough spot because of their government, and they will continue to be in a rough spot because of their government. So I can't change that. And so when I look at the macro system of Haiti, I can tell you that they're going to continue to like struggle because of their government. It's the second most corrupt government in the world. So I just kept like giving myself the analogy of I knew I was making a difference in the States with my clients, you know, and I never compared like how many more people are there out there with mental illness that need my help. I just knew I was doing good with these clients, and I was proud of myself for what I was doing with them. So when I felt that overwhelmed feeling of like, and yeah, I mean, on a good day, 10 people ask you for food, and on a bad day, like 30 people tell you like they're starving and are begging you for food. Like people are hungry. It's a real thing. But, and I was on the streets all the time, remember. So I was getting it way worse than any other people that are there because most people aren't coming and hanging out on the streets. But I just kept remembering like, it is making a difference. We are making a difference, and that's as much as we can make a difference is starting, we can't, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
So with the groups that go down, I know a couple times a year people go down from your college. Do they already have like a particular, does anyone know, do they already have a particular mission that they do when they're there?
I think
Or
so.
could they connect
I
with?
know Kelsey Bugowitz, is that her? She goes down, she's raising money to go, but I don't think it's connected at all.
She goes with Hearts United for Haiti. I'm sure there's probably like 500 different charitable organizations working there.
900.
So they already go, so
Yeah.
so they go down, because I know Mark used to bring people down, so they're already going down with another mission,
Yeah,
so
the
it's
one
not
that-
like they.
Then the
could-
Eckharts have a clinic down there, or they kind of.
Yeah, the Eckharts have their own NPO there,
related to
so,
like a medical clinic.
Okay.
so
yeah.
it's different ones.
Well, it still would be good to know who these
God.
people are from here, to know where they, you know, you get a sick kid, you know there's a medical clinic over here, and you get your college in connection, I mean, that's.
Exactly. I love it. No, really, that's, like, I have made a connection from a tiny little chapel church I went to in 8th grade. There are people coming down from there, and, like, there are people coming to Haiti, and Haiti is a very overpopulated, teeny tiny town. So you do easily connect there. It's so bizarre. It's like your college, you know?
Does the government run the orphanages, or are there independent people going down and like, you know,
So-
American orphanages or whatever?
Yeah,
Or both?
most orphanages are independent, private. There's one government-run orphanage called the Center that they bring street kids to, but no, that's the only government-run thing. Everything is independent. A lot of churches. I mean, a lot of churches have an orphanage in Haiti, right? So many. Most of the 23 that I went to, they were all a church plant, you know? So, yeah. It was a lot of Americans.
What does your timeline look like for when you're hoping and planning to go back?
I suffered making this, right? Because I feel like I'm needed someplace, right? But I'm gonna do everything I can as Tausha Pearson, crazy fast style, to get what we need and go back. So as soon as I have what we need, I'll be back. My grandiose prayer is January, but I mean, God magic, right? I'm excited. I'm excited about the center, and I think it'll be significant for that community. We're in Pétionville, which is like more of a rich area in Haiti. there's no such thing as a charity, okay, but, it's, where if someone has money, if they have a business in Pageville. And so that's kind of where street kids migrate, because there are more cars, and all of my kids, like, what they were doing was wiping down cars and washing cars for money. So that's where you find most street kids, is in Pageville, because they can find something to do for someone for a little tiny bit of money. So that's where we will be.
Can I say a prayer before we leave?
Please.
All right. God, I'm so grateful for tonight and for Tausha, her willingness to share. Father, even more, I'm so grateful for her willingness to share your love with the people of Haiti. Her bold heart is such a blessing. Thank you. Thank you for giving her just a brazen spirit. I pray for her 10 boys and their families, for the social workers, and Father, for the future of Haiti Mama, and the hands that hold it, God, for your hands to continue to comfort it and grow it. Please provide. Father, that's my prayer, that you will provide. In Jesus' name I pray.
Thank you so much for coming and being my first audience. How did I do?